Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It is officially football season, man. Oh, yes. I mean, we work all year. We wait all year long. Fantasy football drafts, I'm sure, have concluded for most of you. College football over the weekend. Oh, my. What a weekend it was. Happy Labor Day weekend, everybody. Hope you had a good Labor Day weekend. Fish, what'd you do this weekend, buddy?
A lot of things. I went to a soccer bar over the weekend. Watched the Arsenal game over there.
That's nice.
Good time. They were angry, of course, because they lost. But that was exciting. Champions League today? How do you not? Super excited. Are you watching
anything this weekend? Oh, by the way, outside of eating that disgusting sandwich.
Why was it disgusting? It was great.
You sick fuck.
It was macaroni.
Macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, and Italian bread. How do you not?
Fish, mute your mic for the rest of the show. That's it. Jeff, how was your weekend, buddy?
Did you watch tennis yesterday? It was some good tennis yesterday.
Fish, I won't knock it till I try it. I won't knock it till I try your sandwich, but it did look a little suspect. It did look a little suspect, but we'll see. I had a good weekend. Watched a lot of football.
Hell yeah.
There's some good games on. I know the LSU, that game was ridiculous. Florida State, that was my favorite game over the weekend. But yeah, Michigan State. I'm just excited for NFL football this Thursday and this weekend. So let's get to it. Football season is upon us, baby.
Oh, yeah. Football season's here.
Feet are kicked up.
There was somebody that played over the weekend. Very good player, by the way.
Oh, boy.
Going into the year, he was regarded as one of the better players going into the season. Low-key Heisman watch. Really a front runner. One of the better quarterbacks. Beautiful arm. Accuracy 10 out of 10. Like you've never seen it. Cade McNamara and the Michigan Wolverines took on Colorado State. Home, of course. What were they, 41-point favorites? Something like that. I think it was 42-point favorites. Long story short, I took that bet, by the way. Absolutely hit. So thank you to Michigan. But Cade McNamara obviously struggled, 9 of 18. Tricky game. I know after the game, all seriousness, look, at the end of the day, we all know that Michigan should start the season 4-0. We all know that Michigan's probably going to win no matter who's at quarterback the first 4 games of the year.
Right.
So there is no overreaction to Cade's performance. But that is what he is, though.
Yeah.
That's not an anomaly.
No, it's not.
That's exactly the quarterback you saw last year.
And it won him a Big Ten.
Of course it won him the Big Ten.
Got him to a college football playoff.
And you can't take that away from him.
Absolutely.
That's his right. He is a Big Ten winning quarterback. That's his right.
There's a but coming.
And there's a huge but coming. The huge but is, for a guy that talked up all camp how, it's the best camp he's ever had.
Mm-hmm.
He's never been able to place the ball better than he is now. More accurate than he's ever been. Even, quote, driving the ball down the field. He even threw that one in.
He did.
Out of everything you've heard come out of his mouth, suddenly, the lights don't even turn on because it's a daytime game. It's against Colorado State, and you go 9 of 18. You have an underwhelming performance. Again, it wasn't a disaster performance, but it was underwhelming.
Yeah.
That's a game you should easily go out there and just have a good time.
Yeah.
Like J.J. McCarthy did when he stepped in. 4-4, 35 yards.
Had a 20-yard rushing touchdown.
A monster rushing touchdown. I mean, those games, you're not going to take away like, oh, well, he can't play quarterback. No, that's not the conversation this morning. But the conversation is, boy, for all the game that Cade McNamara talked, to come out after the fact and say, it was unexpected. I wasn't expecting that decision. I thought I had my best camp. Dude, talk about being a bitch. The pure definition of being one. Nothing coming out of questioning the decision. All the Michigan fans, oh, well, you got to trust Harbaugh. Cade was named the captain. You got to trust Harbaugh. And now suddenly Harbaugh makes a decision saying, oh, you know what? Week 1, it's going to be Cade. Week 2, it's going to be JJ. Oh, now we're driving controversy. Look, just because it doesn't fit what you like doesn't make it any less true. Everybody knows. And you saw it last night, by the way. I hope you all tuned into Clemson and Georgia Tech. I hope you all saw it last night.
Because they're going to make a big decision, too.
Because they're going to have to make a big decision, too. DJ, Ugalele, I have no idea how to say his last name. Pretty close.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Long story short, they're high on the kid. He's got major upside, but boy, never gave you much. Did what you needed him to do against Georgia Tech. Cade Klubnik, by the way, my Heisman dark horse that you asked me of, you and Owen. Cade Klubnik, we're going to have this legit conversation in 2-3 weeks. Should Cade Klubnik be the starting quarterback at Clemson? He goes in for one series. They go down and score. He's electric. He can throw the ball downfield. He can maneuver out of the pocket. What do you know? Sound familiar, guys? I'm not going to play the same old story. We'll get to Cade and JJ in just a bit. Jeff, another team that played over the weekend, my Spartans.
Your Spartans.
Making a debut.
Officially.
Oh, man. It's weird to say that. It really is. But very excited. Very excited. They beat Western. Jacoby Windman, my God, 4.5 sacks, National Defensive Player of the Week.
Yeah.
Michigan State struggled, to be fair. They did struggle against Western. I think the offense was a bit unorganized at times. They tried to commit to running the football. Berger had a good game.
Yeah.
But Peyton Thorne, for all the praise he did earn last year,
He struggled a little bit.
That was a struggle. Yes, he still threw for 4 touchdowns, but that completion percentage
50%.
is terrifying against Western.
Right.
This isn't the Big Ten schedule. This isn't Michigan, Ohio State. And again, everybody has earned the right, I think, at Michigan and Michigan State to have a bad game. That's okay. Mm-hmm. But boy, seeing the Spartans win and cover, by the way, the great teams cover. You guys always have to remember this. The great teams cover. It was a great weekend for betting. It really was. But Michigan State both handled business. Your thoughts over the weekend?
Yeah, they did. I mean, you could say, and a lot of Spartan fans will agree with you, they played rough. They still won by 20 points. The difference, though, with Michigan, and I want to bring this up, with Cade in the game, they just looked predictable. They looked conservative, and it's really the opposite of what you're getting with J.J. McCarthy. You saw him when he was in the ball game, how much of a difference, just in terms of how they keep the defense guessing. With Cade, though, what I noticed, and if you took away, and I hate playing this game, but I have to bring it up, he had a 61-yard screen pass, touchdown pass to Roman Wilson. If you take that away, you know how many yards he had?
Give it to me.
8 for 17 for 75 yards. That was it. And listen, I don't want to. You can't take away touchdown passes, but Roman Wilson making that big play. If you take that away, the man literally 8 yards in total, 75 yards. So he struggled, but again, we'll see JJ against Hawaii. His job, I think, it's his to lose. He's going to come out and obliterate Hawaii. Would Hawaii lose twice?
51-point favorites.
And this is their first game on the road, so they're going to the big house, and so it's going to be rough. But for Michigan State, I think the run game looked really good, to be honest with you. I mean, Berger had 7.5 yards per carry. So we're going to talk to Owen later. I'm going to ask him about his reaction to that post Kenneth Walker. He had Broussard as well, who looked pretty good. I have no problem with how each team played. I mean, they got the job done. You still won. I mean, Michigan State won 35-13, regardless of how they played or what they played. So I'm cool with it. I'm more excited to see how JJ looks against Hawaii, because I'm really curious if Cade even gets in the game at all, or if they're up by 40, does Cade still get in the game? It's going to be interesting to see. But over the weekend, I can't say I wasn't pleased with what I saw of these two teams.
Cade had a QBR of 40, JJ McCarthy 100. Granted, different sample sizes, one threw the ball much more, but I think, let's be honest here. Did it really surprise any of you? Honestly, because it didn't for me. I wasn't floored away by what happened on Saturday. I just wasn't.
No.
Not that I went into that game expecting Cade to fumble the bag and completely drop the ball and not play to the level he expects to play at and that most fans expect him to play at. But did it surprise you? Did it surprise me? That's the same quarterback as last season. That with a phenomenal defense, Hassan Haskins in the backfield running the football. Mm-hmm. It was good enough. It was good enough. And over the weekend, you look at the game, notice one thing in the box score. Look at the running game. Blake Corum, 13 carries, Donovan Edwards, 12. They're not going to have, and this is a big deal in my opinion, they're not going to have the bell cow decision, or that comfort of just running Hassan Haskins into teams, wearing them out, punishing them at the line of scrimmage. Yeah. They lose that. And you look at the team, their 3 leading rushers, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, J.J. McCarthy. That's all finesse. That's not run in between the tackles and punish you. Those are home run hitters, guys that can make plays in open space. And that's an element I think Michigan are going to miss this year. But did it surprise you? Did it surprise you that he did go 9 of 18, he being Cade McNamara? Did it really surprise any of you? Because that's the quarterback you saw last year. And you won the Big Ten with it. Don't get me wrong. That's not a bad thing. He's a Big Ten winning quarterback. Congratulations. You saw it last night at the Clemson game, Cade Klubnik and what he provides to Clemson in the future.
Yeah.
You saw on Saturday just a small sample of what J.J. McCarthy does for you. And last I checked, being able to throw the football down the field is a requirement for a quarterback. And Cade does not throw a good ball down the field at all. It's not even a discussion, actually. It's quite pathetic that a quarterback can't throw the ball downfield. J.J. McCarthy can. And, we always laugh about last year and how they lost to State and McCarthy's fumble. Last I checked, there were 3 red zone opportunities last year for Michigan in the first half. All field goals. Overthrows.
Yep.
Balls in the dirt.
That's what happened against
Batted
Colorado.
at the line of scrimmage.
Settling for field goals.
Look, can Michigan win 10 games with Cade this year? I'm sure they can. But boy, you don't have the margin for error that you had last year. You don't. You don't have the luxury of Aiden Hutchinson, David Ajabo, Daxton Hill on defense. You don't. And the defense, you know what? Colorado State, but still, they looked like they're going to be a problem. They're not going to skip a beat. 7 sacks against Colorado State. That was good to see.
Yeah, they look good.
Michigan State, again, Jacoby Windman, you can call Michigan State transfer university from now on. Because the kids that transfer, damn, they play good. Damn, they play good for Mel Tucker. Damn, they got a few good commits over the weekend. Michigan and Michigan State football, just moving forward, it's in a really good place. That's one of the other key takeaways you should have. It's in a good place. And are Michigan State going to have to be more dynamic on offense? Yeah, eventually they are. And last year, like we all agree, they caught lightning in a bottle with Kenneth Walker, and it truly just opened up the entire offense. But for Michigan State, Peyton Thorne can't go 12 of 24, 233 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. It just couldn't get it going. The defense played well against Western. The running game was pretty solid. They almost ran for 200 yards. That was impressive. But Jaden Reed was pretty quiet. It was a quiet day for a lot of their star players, quote unquote. So.
And you could tell, too, with JJ, one thing that separates him from Cade is his ability to extend third down. Like that with his legs. You could talk about what he could do through the air. I think he's just a more natural, just better, more accurate passer than Cade. But one thing I noticed watching the game, Adam, I think that was the difference. Michigan and Michigan State both struggled on third down. But with Michigan, with JJ in the ball game, you got a guy who can at least extend plays with his legs. I think that's kind of what separates him as well, because you saw the big play made with his legs. But more than that, with Cade, he really is a statue. I mean, the guy, even Peyton Thorne, to bring up Peyton Thorne, he can at least extend plays, make plays, make complete passes on the run. The difference with Cade and JJ is JJ if you really want to get the most out of this offense, and we're going to talk about it later getting into this Michigan game, and I didn't want to give too much away, but if you want to get the most out of this offense, you need J.J. McCarthy. You just do, because I think there's a lot of talent on offense, but to get the most out of it, I think, JJ, you need to play him.
When you watch Cade McNamara throw the football, or let's take a step back, before he even throws the football, making a decision, it's very conservative. It's almost too conservative.
It's almost predictable, yeah, in a sense. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Michigan. JJ's the guy. If you didn't learn enough Saturday, we'll wait for the upcoming game against Hawaii, and then we'll all come back on a Monday morning and be like, whoa, I didn't expect that. When we get back, did Cade lose his role? Did he lose the job on Saturday, or are we just overreacting on a beautiful Tuesday morning? Is J.J. McCarthy the answer, or is he too reckless, quote unquote, of a quarterback to be the starting quarterback for Michigan? All that and more. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at Big Boy.
Yes. Well, guys, Big Boy, for a limited time only, they have the burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. And it's not just the Slim Jim. It's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. But guess what else? The bacon, blue. How about upgrading to those fries, too? They have the chili cheese fries, the baked potato fries, or the nacho cheese fries. Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
And we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show, 8:16 on a beautiful Tuesday morning. Football season officially here. Jeff, Cade McNamara.
Yes.
Did he lose his job on Saturday?
Yes, I think he did. I think it's JJ's job to lose at this point. And the point I was making last segment, I do want to get into it now. I really do. I like what Michigan has on offense. You could talk about that offensive line. I know they struggled a little bit to start the game, but they're still a very talented group. You look at the wide receiver core, you still have Eric All back. To get the most out of this offense, I do believe you need J.J. McCarthy, and I get it. Cade McNamara last year, he didn't really do anything to lose his job. I know you could talk about the defense, you could talk about the run game and why they got and ultimately won a Big Ten and got to the college football playoff. But if we're talking this year, and you talk about his performance against Colorado State to start with Cade, you see the difference. And I think with J.J., not only can he keep defenses on their toes and put them in predicaments with his legs and with his arm, but with Cade, there's a fear factor, I think, among defenses when you're looking at Cade and you're looking at J.J. McCarthy. J.J.'s just much more dangerous. And I think you're going to be able to get much more out of this offense. You were looking at the RPOs they were running, Michigan, and when Cade would run it, you're like, there's no way in hell this man's keeping the football. But with J.J., defenses had to actually guess. Is he keeping the football or is he handing it off to Blake Corum? That's how much more dangerous that J.J. makes you. And I get he's young, he's still a sophomore. But last year, you won the Big Ten. And this year, you're going to have, 9 or 10 games until Ohio State at the end of the year? So, if anything, JJ is going to have the experience leading up into that Ohio State game. And I think it's enough. By then, you'll know for sure if JJ is that guy. I think Hawaii, it's going to be hard to evaluate them just because they're going to obliterate Hawaii. But in my opinion, you leave them in and you leave them to start the rest of the year and you see where you go. Because I really do believe, I think there's enough talent on this defense too. Because we could talk about last year and we could talk about what they had. But I think Michigan is getting to a point now where when guys leave and go to the NFL draft, guys like Mozzie Smith arise. You have other guys that are still, coming up the woodworks that are still very talented players. So for me, Adam, yes, I think it's JJ's job to lose. But more than that, if Michigan fans want to get everything out of this offense, I think it is JJ, no question about it.
I agree 100%. And you know what? I noticed something. I was in Chicago over the weekend. And, when you're on vacation, there's a lot of things you do.
Adam actually going anywhere. Clap it off for Adam.
And one of the things I took away, and I don't think I would have realized this unless I was in Chicago over the weekend, and that was that I last longer in bed than JJ lasted as the starting quarterback of Michigan. That's impressive.
That's pretty
impressive. Not bad if you ask me. Honestly, I don't want to tap myself on the shoulder, but damn it, I have to this morning. There was zero thoughts that entered my mind over the weekend before the game was even played, Jeff, where I went into the game against Colorado State and I said, you know what? Today, Cade McNamara is going to lose the job. Mm-hmm. I thought he was just going to do what he always does. Probably 60%, 64% completion percentage. Safe underneath routes. One of them breaks loose like the Roman Wilson touchdown, and he has a solid game, and everybody looks at him and says, you know what? He didn't do anything to lose the job. But he didn't. I thought it was a bad performance.
It was.
And I don't think it's as bad as some people make it out to be. But that is Cade McNamara. That is it. How do you go an entire offseason, again, playing your best camp, right? Your best ball.
And he got all the reps. JJ was hurt. So on top of that.
And you come out against Colorado State with that. With Ronnie Bell, only one catch. Andrew Anthony, did he even get a catch? I think maybe one. Come on.
Yeah.
And you said this earlier. How do you unlock this Michigan offense? It's kind of obvious to me. Kind of obvious to you.
Yeah.
Boy, you have a guy in the backfield who who lines up, snaps the ball, and at any point can do one of three things, right? He can hand the ball off, he can pull it back and run, or he can pull it back and throw. Boy, that adds a whole level of dynamic ability for your offense. On top of it, add Ronnie Bell. On top of it,
Got playmakers.
Andrew Anthony. On top of it, Roman Wilson. On top of it, Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum. Guys, Michigan, you have 10 games now before Ohio State.
Give him 10.
Give him the 10 games. He'll go out against Hawaii. He'll likely perform the way we expect him to. Sorry, Cade. You can be a team captain. You can be very supportive. I'm sure every fan in the world, when they see you, would thank you for the Big Ten title that you helped deliver. He did. That is his right. He absolutely did. And he deserves credit for that. But that was last season.
Right.
And we're going into this season. And there is no Hassan Haskins where you turn around and hand it over 22, 24, 25 times a game. There is that is not part of your offense this year. Can you run effectively with Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum? Absolutely you can. But it's not the same. And you need some spark. So when you travel to Iowa or you travel to Columbus, what are you going to rely on exactly? Because last I checked, I was at the game in the Big House last year. Boy, Hassan Haskins punished the Ohio State defense along with that offensive line. But what did we learn about Ohio State over the weekend? Oh, they're not a pushover team. Number 5 team in the country comes to Columbus, and what do? They stifle them on defense, and they make plays on offense when they had to. 21-10. Not bad if you ask me. Ohio State showed grit, something they haven't had under Ryan Day. Maybe too early. Maybe it's just Notre Dame, and Notre Dame suck. However you want to label it up, it's up to you. But my biggest takeaway is I do think not only did he lose the job, that was so underwhelming. That was the one thing he couldn't afford to have. Like I said, if he would have went out and had a normal game, we're talking about Michigan, took care of business. Can Cade go win the job?
Yeah.
But now it's, can JJ go win the job or no? It's, how can he not lose it? Right. It seems to be his, Jeff.
And on top of that, too, you have to look at who they have coming up. Like, even after Hawaii, they have UConn and they have Maryland. So even at that point, you're giving JJ 2 more games to at least get his legs under him. Also, on top of that, you play Iowa after that, and I still think Michigan's going to beat Iowa whether JJ or Cade's starting. So that's the point of it. And I want to bring up one more point, because Stetson Bennett seems to be a conversation that people bring up when they talk about these, decent quarterbacks who win a national championship. He is an anomaly, by the way. And not only that, Stetson Bennett last year had almost 30 touchdowns. That's the difference. You could talk about the run game they had at Georgia, but Stetson Bennett, for all the people who want to talk about him, he's still a national championship winning quarterback, and a guy who, against even a team like Oregon, threw for 2 touchdowns, 25 of 31 for almost 400 yards, had 1 rushing. So, and Georgia can bring in 5-star quarterbacks like it's nobody's business. But the difference is Stetson doesn't lose the job. He goes out and he plays better and better and better, and he keeps the job. So with Cade, yeah, you won a Big Ten, which got to give credit to Cade for that. I get it was a more of the team aspect, but he still was a quarterback of a team that won the Big Ten and beat Ohio State. So I got to give him credit where it's due. But he had to go out and win it, and he lost it. So it's JJ's job to lose at this point. And I just think JJ makes their offense that much more dangerous. And if I'm a Michigan fan, I want that. I want a quarterback that puts my offense in another tier in terms of what he can do, not only with his legs, but through the air with his passing ability. So that's what separates them for me. I wanted to bring up that Georgia point because, guys, and I always argue with Sam Flannel about this, about bringing up Stetson Bennett. Oh, Stetson Bennett's trash. He's trash. He's just like Cade. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's a guy. He's a very good quarterback and a guy who hasn't lost his job yet. So for me, this is how I feel about JJ. I was the one that said if JJ doesn't get the job, I would go transfer because there's a school who would welcome JJ with open arms. But for right now, JJ needs to stay because it looks like it's his job to lose. So we'll see. And I think even until Michigan State, you have some games to at least get more acclimated and get more experience in starting games like JJ McCarthy will. So I have no problem with it, Adam. I think this season Michigan fans are going to look back and say, why in the hell wasn't this guy starting already? So I'm excited to see how this plays out.
Well, let's look at it from Jim Harbaugh's standpoint. Why don't you just make a decision, Jim? Well,
it's biblical.
Look, do I think there is value to having Cade McNamara as your starting quarterback? Yeah. A lot of experience there, right? Winning experience. But I'm sorry. It's quite obvious who the better quarterback is.
Yeah,
and is J.J. McCarthy going to make mistakes? He absolutely is. And is it damn near going to cost you some games? Yeah. But there are also games where you probably won't win without that it ability. And he has it. Do I think J.J. McCarthy is turnover prone and all he does is turn the ball over? No, I don't.
We have not seen.
I think that's well overblown. That's well overblown.
We got to see a bigger sample size for that.
How about we see him start?
Yeah.
Instead of coming in cold into one of the biggest moments of a game, fumbling the ball like he did, and then us go, oh, well, turnover prone. Really? What are we doing, guys? We're better than that. We're better than that. Coming up in just a bit, the Lions lose Vaitai for the season, it looks like.
Yeah.
Jeff, cause for concern already? Season hasn't even started yet.
I know.
This will be for the second consecutive year they won't have their 5 offensive linemen ready. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at the Academy of Warren.
Yes, guys, let me tell you about our friends at the Academy of Warren, because if you're looking a place to send your children, I have the place. I checked it out. I wanted to play some basketball over at the Academy of Warren, and one thing I found out, too, is on top of everything they already have, they have great education. They have athletics for your kids as well. They have the soccer field, as you can see, the athletic complex, the learning street, with all the tools necessary for your child to succeed. And on top of that, they have a rock climbing wall. So if you are interested, please head to theacademyofwarren.net and tell me your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Hey, it's Scott from the Woodward Bet Show. Hey, we're fired up. We got NFL football this week. You guys are going to have to check us out at 4:30 at the Woodward Bet YouTube page. You guys are also going to have to go over to that app store and check out oddstrader.com. It's got live scoring, play-by-play updates, and best place to check all the odds and sports books right in the palm of your hand. But hey, we like fun coupons. We got to get ready for NFL football, so let's get after it. So listen, Johnny Cueto, 2-1, 1.0 whip in his last 3 starts. Sounds good to me. I'll take him today against the Mariners. Oddstrader.com. Woodward Bets. Check it out.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends from Big Frog. You can get a free Woodward Sports t-shirt. That's right. I said it. Free Woodward Sports t-shirt all month long at Big Frog and Novi. Just stop in, tell them we sent you, and they will print one out for you on the spot. Go to Big Frog and Novi today and get your free t-shirt, or visit them online at bigfrog.com/Novi.
All right, with Vaitai hitting the IR, he'll be out for what, 4 weeks?
Yeah,
Is
minimum.
that the number? Minimum 4 weeks. Cause for concern with the offensive line already. Because this is a guy that gave you a lot of good play last season.
Didn't allow a sack last season.
I'm not going to sit here and hit the panic button, but boy, not what you want to hear 6 days leading up to a game.
No, it isn't. And listen, the Lions have been very lucky, by the way, and they haven't really lost any significant starters yet until Vaitai. That was the conversation in training camp as well. Lions actually haven't lost anybody. You look around the league, a lot of guys are losing marquee players. But it's not a good thing. I mean, the NFL, you're bound to suffer injuries. It's a matter of when, not if. But the Lions have been very lucky so far in camp. And I think with this hit with Vaitai going on IR, And he's been solid, by the way, for this offensive line ever since he moved to guard. And I mentioned he's been very, very solid in pass pro. Last year, didn't give up a sack in every game he played in. But they're going to have to find a way. I mean, this is what Dan Campbell preaches. It's next man up. And you're hoping that whoever is available, and they claim Drew Forbes off waivers, a guy that played some games in Cleveland, 6th-round draft pick, I believe. You hoping these guys can be able to step up and step in right away and make plays. Like last year, you lost Frank Ragnow. You had Taylor Decker out for half the season. And you had guys starting. Evan Brown. You found out Evan Brown was a very good backup last year. So you're hoping that, you can't fill the void completely, but at least somebody can come in like a Drew Forbes and at least be solid for this offensive line. Because to be honest with you, if I'm being 100% honest, out of all the offensive linemen, I mean, you'd rather keep the Pro Bowl Jonah Jackson. You'd rather keep your former Pro Bowler Frank Ragnow, your future Pro Bowler in Penei Sewell, and you have Taylor Decker, who's a top 10 left tackle. So you still have those guys. Vaitai is solid, don't get me wrong, and it's not a good thing. But I think they've been very, very lucky this offseason, Adam, that they haven't lost anybody more significant. We know Romeo's coming off an injury. Jameson's coming off an injury. But no one's been significantly injured in training camp until Vaitai. So they've gotten lucky, but it doesn't change my pick for the year. They still got to find a way to win, man. That's what Dan Campbell preaches.
Yeah, we'll get to season expectations a little later. There's also Hard Knocks tonight. It's the finale, correct?
Yes.
This is the finale of Hard Knocks, so that'll be over. We'll give our recap at 9:41-ish. Top of the hour. Who will or should be calling plays for the Lions? We'll get to that, but the Vaitai news, I think, is get ready, guys. Welcome to the NFL. Like, we're not new to this. We're not children here. This isn't the first time we've ever watched an NFL team. How long have you all been watching football? Injuries happen.
They do.
And you know what? The Lions are prepared for this type of injury. They just are. I think the depth there is fine. Mm-hmm. Is it ideal? No, it's not, but it's fine. That's all you need is fine. And if it is only 4-6 weeks, you can live with it.
Yeah, you can.
You can live with it. Like you said, you still got Ragnow. You still got Sewell. You still got Decker. I mean, that's still a formidable offensive line. So we're not going to overreact to an offensive lineman going down, but I think one of the concerns I do have is, last year we saw Penei really shine towards the end of the year at right tackle. And that's likely where he's going to be to start the year.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Decker renegotiating his contract. There is more salary cap space. What's the move before the season for the Lions? Because I'm really trying to envision, is there anything else they could address outside of linebacker? And I don't think there is.
No.
I don't think you go after another offensive lineman. I don't think you go after a backup. It's got to be linebacker. I know Blake Martinez was thrown around there, but I think that the roster is what it is. That's what they're going into the season with, and barring catastrophic injury, that's your team. And I think it's a formidable team. Do I think it's a contender? No, I don't. Do I think it's a division contender? No, I don't. But the Vaitai loss, I don't think is catastrophic. I don't think it's going to change my projection for the amount of games they're going to win to start the year. And again, a lot of their wins are going to come off of can they stop teams?
That's
Can
it.
they stop the run? And you're going to have a hell of a test week 1 against Philly. Philly, you're going to see if you can stop the run or if you improved in run defense. But if you took anything away, anything from the first game, or I should say the first preseason game against Atlanta, you didn't look like you were capable of stopping the run, let alone a mobile quarterback. But preseason is much different than a regular season game. Jalen Hurts and Philly open up on the road against our good friends here in Detroit. Should be fun.
Yeah.
We'll be down there, by the way.
We will.
Pre-game show. Can't wait. Lions pre-game shows returning this year. Sundays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. College football show debuts this upcoming Saturday. I'm excited. Speaking of college football, have to rock. I'm kind of blind here. Have to rock
green and white.
The Sparty fleece. But
Are you getting more Spartan gear, by the way, or is that the only thing you're getting?
oh no, I have a shipment coming in.
Good.
I have committed.
Cool.
I've committed, absolutely. I'm trying to get my hands on some gear that nobody else has.
Nice.
But, Jeff, I think the last question I have here before we move on, especially with the Vaitai situation, just in general, any gaping holes in the roster outside of linebacker? Because I think we've done that enough. But I think you're confident at wide receiver. Confident running back? What would you argue? Backup quarterback? Which I'm not a fan of having conversations about.
I ain't arguing that. So, I think you kind of hit on it. I think every position besides linebacker is really you feel comfortable with. There's a lot of guys that are unproven still, but it's really just linebacker. And I don't have a problem if they go and take a chance on Blake Martinez. I don't know the inside information. I don't know how he is in the locker room with his teammates in practice. I don't know any of that stuff. All I know is Blake Martinez, the linebacker, and I like him. And he's coming off an ACL injury, so there's things he's got to work out. But other than that, I did want to bring up too, for everybody worrying about this Vaitai loss, it's compared to last year when the Lions lost Frank Ragnow. It's extremely different because you saw when they lost Frank, the offense took a much more significant hit because of what Frank brings, and he can communicate. He has to constantly be communicating between him, the offensive line, Jared Goff. With Vaitai, that's a plug-and-play position. I know it hurts the offensive line, but just thank God you still have Frank Ragnow. But in totality for this roster, Adam, it really is just linebacker. I mean, besides that, you have a lot of guys that you like. They're unproven. I get, Malcolm Rodriguez you like. He hasn't, he's unproven. But Kirby Joseph you like. He's unproven as well. But we'll see. I still think, and I'm going to keep hammering and pounding the table for this, how the Lions season ends up is going to be based off their offensive and defensive line. And Jared Goff, of course. But those two things got to be solid this year if they want to get to where they want to get to.
We talk about Jared Goff a lot.
We do.
I think he's primed to have the best season of his career since 2018. I don't think he'll reach that level, but damn, he'll get pretty close. I really believe that. I think they have something going really well with the wide receivers. Obviously, the offensive line. You have a dynamic backfield, a deep backfield that can produce really with anybody. It doesn't matter who's back there at this point. And one key player who I think is going to be your X factor on offense outside of DeAndre Swift. Amon-Ra St. Brown. You saw what he did down the stretch. Look, are you expecting 90 yards a game out of him this year? Probably not. But damn it, if that's what he's producing at the start of the year, you're feeling really good about the season. And let's go over the schedule real quick. Home to Philly. Home to Washington.
Yep.
On the road to Minnesota. Home to Seattle. On the road to New England. And then you got a bye week. You got 5 games. I'm sorry.
Go 3-2. Or 2-3.
Forget the record. You can't look at that schedule and say, outside of Minnesota, boy, you wouldn't feel good about any loss. Outside of Minnesota, I don't think you walk away with a loss against Seattle, a loss against the Commanders, even a loss against Philly, who I know a lot of people are really high on. That's fine. Very, very, very talented on defense. I still have a lot of questions on offense, but regardless.
Just the quarterback for me.
Regardless. You lose to Philly, you lose to Washington, you lose to Seattle, you lose to New England. You're going to be like scratching your head after that game. Maybe you can make the excuse with Philly. But I think outside of Minnesota, your first 5 games, they're winnable games. And I know it's any given Sunday in the NFL, but let's be realistic here.
Yeah.
I don't think you beat Minnesota on the road. Just come out and say that from now.
I have them losing. I agree with you.
But I'm not going to say you can't beat Philly, that you can't beat Washington, that you can't beat Seattle, or that you can't beat New England. I think the Lions very well could.
Especially
that
Seattle.
Schedule to start the year. We talk a lot about Dan Campbell and the buy-in he's getting, the culture he's building, the tone he's setting. Jeff, you know what the best recipe to build a culture is? The number one ingredient you need.
Starts with a W.
Starts with W's. They come out to a good start.
Yeah.
They're going to be going into that bye week feeling very confident about their football team and where it's going.
Yeah, you got to have a minimum, in my opinion, of 2 wins. You got to be 2-3 through 5. If you're 1-4, considering how last year started and you didn't have a win through, 8 weeks, we're going to have some discussions on air, I'll tell you that. I mean, they should have a minimum of 2 wins through those. And even 2 wins, I'd sit there and
I think if you walk away with 2 wins, and you know what? Let's throw a poll in the chat, Alex. Everybody at home, feel free to answer. All right, give me your vote, yes or no. Would you be confident in the Lions if they were 2-3 after 5 games? And I believe a majority of you would say no. Because you would look at Washington, you would look at New England, and you would look at Seattle and say those 3 games, that would be, I don't want to say devastating.
Oh, they'd hurt.
But that would be a bitch to lose. That would not be fun.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose to Seattle. You don't want to lose to a team that has Matt Patricia as their offensive coordinator. You don't want to lose to Washington, who just lost Chase Young. And what, Carson Wentz is their quarterback? Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that matchup any given Sunday. I'll take Jared Goff over what they have in New England. I'll take Jared Goff currently over what they have in Washington and Seattle. 3 very winnable games.
Right.
Don't want to hear the excuses. Minnesota, Philly, now we're talking about wild card playoff teams, division contenders. I'm cool with that. You split those, holy hell, Detroit. You might have this whole city on fire if you split those games and win the games you're supposed to.
See, I'm coming at this from a different perspective, and I see the chat poll right now. You have 56% say no, they would not be happy with a 2-3 start. 44% say yes. I would actually be happy with that, or I would be not happy, but okay with that. Context does matter, though, Adam. We bring this up all the time on the show. If you have 2 wins and one of those losses was, a last-minute field goal win, it's different. But again, if you look at those first 5 games, in my opinion, you have to beat Seattle. And I think they beat the Commanders. So that's 2. We say they lose to Minnesota. We say they lose to the Eagles. And then you have New England, which
is, I think, 50-50.
That's tough. Yeah, it's 50-50, but you're in Gillette, too. That could go either way. But again, if you end the 5 games 2-3, I'm fine with it. I mean, I don't know, because I still have them, and I'm not going to reveal my record, but let's just say my record can still be accomplished by 2-3 to start through 5 games. So I'm okay with that.
The only way you could sell me on 2-3, the only way you could sell me is that they beat Minnesota and Seattle, and they lose the others. Because I'll take the division win, but I think 2-3 is a disaster start. I do.
Disaster?
I do.
Why?
Because to lose to Philly, to lose to Minnesota, and to lose to New England,
NFC team.
I understand playoff teams.
Yeah.
You got to beat them. This isn't. I'm not trying to have a repeat of Jim Caldwell's era.
What if you play them close, but you lose because your defense gives up, a touchdown in the fourth quarter? I mean, whatever it is.
All right, fine. Context will matter.
Right, if they get
obviously.
blown out by all 3 of those teams.
No, I don't think they'll get blown out this year in many games. I really don't see that happening. But
explain why wouldn't you be
2-3
satisfied?
for me would be the anti what this team is trying to work towards. Jim Caldwell, for all that he did here, and he did win a lot of games here.
Right.
He had a 6-26 record, I believe, against winning teams. Philly, Minnesota, and New England last season, pretty damn close to being winning teams outside of Minnesota, especially Philly and New England. Both playoff teams. Minnesota, you expect to contend for the division this year. Okay. Mm-hmm. Could you convince me that 2-3 isn't a disaster? Maybe you could. But I'm looking for a different direction. I'm looking for them to go out and beat one of those 3 teams, along with handling business against Seattle and Washington, who I think they should beat.
Yes.
3-2.
I would agree with that.
I think is a must. I don't think it's, oh, well, that would be nice. It's a must. You have to start 3-2, in my opinion, because, well, it makes you no different 5 games into the year than what they were prior. Go and beat a team with a winning record. Start there. Whether it's Philly at home to start the year, whether it's New England in Foxborough, or whether it's Minnesota on the road in a division game. I don't care. You should beat Seattle. You should beat Washington. Can't go 0-3 against those other teams. Can't have it. Can't have it to start the year, Jeff.
I would be okay with it, but I get it. It's your expectations. And not to mention, too, the schedule does get harder and harder and harder. So they got to at least be successful through 5 games. But to me, I would be okay with it. Because that would mean you have basically the totality of your wins last year through 5 games. You have 2. So we'll see. They can still get 7-8 wins regardless if they start 2-3. But I get where you're coming from.
I'm sorry.
They have
I
to
think
beat
2-3
good teams. But I think it's too early to say that.
Are you heading into the bye week 2-3? Very confident going into Dallas on the road?
Well, that's another conversation.
I'm asking.
You have Miami after that.
I'm asking.
I think so.
And then you have Buffalo not too long after that.
I think Lions fans 2-3 heading into the bye week would be like, we got this. But in reality,
would you feel better about that game going into it 3-2?
No.
No, not any better. With
No,
a better record.
Because
going
the
into a
roster's
bye
still
week.
the roster. I mean, you could be 3-2, Adam, but you still have deficiencies on defense. You're going to have to face Dallas regardless.
I understand, but no Tyron Smith. Zeke looks like Andy Reid out there.
So if you're 2-3, are you confident?
Again, I'm just saying.
I'm going to get you.
I'm just saying. 2-3, I don't think is the result most people would want. I don't think 2-3 makes me confident going into a bye week. I don't.
All right.
Do I think maybe the word disaster is too harsh? Maybe it is.
You'd be unhappy.
But I would be very unhappy with 2-3, especially if one of those losses came to Washington or Seattle.
That's a different conversation. If one of those losses are to Seattle or the Commanders, then I have a problem. But I'm good with it. And it's almost 60% agree. So about 60-40 split on 2-3 start. So
yeah, I'm surprised.
I'm okay with it.
It's actually, would you be confident in the Lions if they were 2-3 after 5 games? 58% of you said yes.
You said it yourself. 6, 7, 8 wins. They can still get to 6, 7, 8 wins with 2-3.
I understand.
They can still do it.
But look at that 5-week stretch and take the next 5 weeks after the bye.
Oh, it's tough.
It gets tough. It gets much more difficult. And I'm sorry. Philly, should they be the favorites? Philly should be the favorites, absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's a fair game. You should beat Washington. Minnesota on the road, difficult. I can understand that. You should not lose to Seattle.
No.
And you have to find a way to beat New England. I'm sorry. What is New England going to threaten you with? A game plan? How drawn out has that been with Bill Belichick over the years?
It's really just Bill Belichick.
What does that mean? What's Mac Jones going to do? What, Ramondre Stevenson, Damian Harris? What, Hunter Henry?
We'll see what he looks like.
What do you have to fear on defense if you're the Lions? There's nothing offensively the New England Patriots bring to the table, as we know right now, along with what we've seen in preseason, and Matt Patricia being the play caller. There's nothing I see that doesn't have me thinking, wait. This team that has a run game and an offensive line that travels, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds, DJ Chark, and Jared Goff should be able to go into Foxborough and win you that football game, regardless of the defense. Just my 2 cents. I don't like 2-3 going into the bye week. I don't.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Go beat Matt Patricia.
But I think it's fair. Coming up in just a bit, we'll recap Michigan State, their games completely. We'll give a full detail recap. Some impressive performances with some debutants. Top of the hour, who will or should be calling plays for the Detroit Lions? Motor City Dan Campbell or our boy Ben Johnson. By the way, my fantasy football team?
What'd you call it?
The Benny Train.
Oh, God, I love it. I love it.
Oh, man. Takeaways, of course. Later on, we got Owen at 9:17. Anthony Broom coming up Thursday. Can't wait to have Anthony on the show. I think we're going to go for Tuesdays and Thursdays with Anthony, college football. It's going to be fun.
Let's do it.
And then, of course, we kind of started going into it, but at 9:30, season expectations. I think it's game by game. I think it's very important to understand where you are as a football team. I think it's very important, but we'll get to all that and more in just a bit. But before we do, the official studio sponsor of the Woodward Sports Network, and that is Planet Fitness. Get started today. Your fitness is essential. $0 down, $10 a month. Go to planetfitness.com or sign up at one of their many Metro Detroit locations. Like I said, your fitness is essential. Make sure you're hitting the gym. It's very important. Take 30, 40 minutes out of your day. It's a mental reset. Very good for you. And there's only one place to do that, and that's Planet Fitness.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Jeff Iafrate here, and let me tell you about our friends at Alta. Because at Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. Have a big project coming up, Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
All right, and we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Almost top of the hour, 8:50 on a beautiful Tuesday morning. I hope you all enjoyed your Labor Day weekend.
Hey!
Jeff, Michigan, Colorado State. What you expected, a blowout. Michigan defense was all over the field. You talk about a defense that didn't look like they missed David Ojabo or Aiden Hutchinson. They had 7 sacks. Now, granted, Colorado State, but the signs are positive.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And we mentioned it, the Cade, the JJ conversation. I want to talk about that defense because that was the biggest thing people always talk about, too. This year for Michigan is who do they have on defense? You guys have to understand this, too. It's like Georgia. I think Michigan at least has not as much talent as Georgia, but with Georgia, you look at the defense, you look at all the first-round picks, you look at all the talent they lost last year. Look at what they looked like game 1 against Oregon. They still look damn good. And I get it, they're not as talented as they were. But with Michigan, they might not have, a guy like Aiden Hutchinson or a guy like, David Ojabo. But by, group effort, they still have a lot of talent. I do think that this is a team that, if at least they game plan the right way, I think they can at least challenge Ohio State. I still have Ohio State running the table, winning the Big Ten. But this is still a very, very talented team. I love the run game. I think Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, they both looked very, very good. The offensive line was moving guys around. So, it's not like I really was surprised by anything I saw at Michigan. They did what they had to do. They blew out a very, very bad Colorado State team. But you can at least say that some of the things you saw last year that led to them winning the Big Ten and getting to a college football playoff are still certainly here. I mean, you're not going to get 15 pressures in a game by Aiden Hutchinson like they had last year, but like Adam, you brought up, I think there's still a lot of talent defensively that I think can kind of supplement what they lost last year. I don't know if they'll be as good, but it'll still keep them in a lot of these ball games, no doubt about it.
And I love the way you phrased it, and I'm going to even go a step further with the edge rushers and say it's edge rusher by committee. It's not Aiden and Ojabo on the edges now, but they have a plethora of talent on the edges. Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. It's electric. It is. It's not tough. It's not physical. It's not in your face, smash mouth like Hassan Haskins was last season, but boy, Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards are going to be so fun to watch this season. Now, one of the other takeaways I had was the passing game, underwhelming. For a team that fields Andrel Anthony, Ronnie Bell, Roman Wilson, Eric All, Donovan Edwards, Blake Corum out of the backfield, the passing game just needs to evolve. It just needs to evolve. I'm not asking you to go air raid, 5 wide receiver spread, nobody in the backfield, throw it 50 times a game. No. You don't have to lose your running identity, but you need to be a viable threat on offense when you're throwing the football. And I think you're going to see a huge improvement over the week when they play Hawaii. Yes, again, it's Hawaii, but you're going to see the passing game be much more effective with J.J. McCarthy out there. I think one of the other things I noticed were the freshmen on defense.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad if you ask me. You start with Mason Graham and Derek Moore. Phenomenal. Each had half a sack. I thought it was good. I thought the defense was a lot better than I thought it would be. I thought Colorado State probably would have put up 13, 17 points. They shut them out for the first 3 quarters. A late touchdown in the 4th. The Michigan defense looked rock solid.
And we got to give a little credit to Jesse Minter, too, new defensive coordinator, because that was the biggest question we had is what are you going to do with Mike McDonald now not a part of this coaching staff? But I got to say, I know it's against Colorado State, and we'll see how they look against the big boys. And really, you have a 2-game schedule we're looking at, Michigan State and Ohio State. But we got to give credit where it's due. And I think Jesse Minter with this defense, I love how you said it, by committee. There's a lot more, it's more guys that are more dangerous, I think, this year, younger guys, than last year. So we'll see. I do think with this offensive line and the receivers they have, although they might not have these marquee guys, they still have playmakers. They really do. And I think with J.J. McCarthy in the game, you saw how much more dangerous they were. But defensively, Adam, I had to bring it up. Jesse Minter, good job at first game. We'll see how it plans out.
All right, the Spartans take down Western Michigan, which, again, expected.
Yeah.
They should. Here are a few takeaways I had. Concern with the injuries. Losing Snow is devastating. It truly is. And we'll ask Owen more on updates when he joins at 9:17. But, Jeff, life after Kenneth Walker, you think it would have been a disaster? They ran the ball pretty effectively.
Yeah, they did.
They averaged about, 198, 199 yards a game on the ground last year? They ran for 197 against Western.
6.2 yards per carry.
They did pretty fine.
Yeah.
They were okay. It wasn't that bad. Peyton Thorne, for all the incompletions, looked very confident. He threw the ball. 4 touchdowns through the air. Obviously, Jacoby Windman, how can you not talk about him? 4.5 sacks, National Defensive Player of the Week. Phenomenal on the edge. It was a mismatch. He looked bigger, stronger than anybody Western could put in front of him. That was always good to see. The transfer portal is just becoming a thing with Mel Tucker. You want to talk about newcomers at Western, newcomers with Michigan State? Jacoby Windman, 7 tackles, 4 sacks, forced fumble. Chris Bogle, 3 tackles, 1 sack. Aaron Brugel, 1 sack. Jalen Berger, 120 yards on the ground. Jarek Broussard, 54 yards on the ground. Daniel Barker, 13-yard touchdown run. Jeremy Bernard, freshman, 44-yard touchdown. Not bad. Shout out to Ryan Obles. What is his name? Ryan Oblenis for the data on Twitter. I botched that name. Jeez.
But I want to bring up Jacoby Windman real quick because this is why I'm very high on Mel Tucker too. To bring in a guy like Brandon Jordan, who's a pass rush specialist who works with a lot of pros, now bringing him into MSU. You go and find a Jacoby Windman who at UNLV had 6.5 sacks last year. He had 4 in the first game. So to me, that says the talent he has, but also the coaching that MSU has around him. And I think with Brandon Jordan, the pass rush specialist, like guys like that are going to matter. And I'm going to ask Owen about that later. But really, Adam, you're seeing like Kenneth Walker last year, brought over from Wake Forest, looked, he's a pretty good running back, 500 yards per year. Boom, drops for almost 2K. So that's the difference, I think. You bring in a guy like Jacoby Windman, had 6.5 sacks last year, 4 sacks in the first game. Coaching matters. Absolutely.
A few minutes here. All right, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Can't go a show without talking about Ohio State.
Oof. Yeah.
That was gutsy.
I was wrong.
And I was frustrated as hell with Ohio State because I did have them covering, but damn it, that was a prove-it game for Ohio State. Got to give Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame credit. They played their asses off.
Like hell.
But on offense, it's a work in progress to Notre Dame. They're going to have to be much better on offense. The defense they held their own against Jackson Smith and Jimba. Yes, he got hurt. Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, that Ohio State team, it just started clicking towards the end. And it was so frustrating to watch because they were getting 5-6 yards a clip on the ground. But Ryan Day was stubborn for the first 2.5, 3 quarters, and then he let the reins loose. They started running the ball. They were more effective. C.J. Stroud looked better, and the rest is history. A 21-10 victory. Number 2, Ohio State take down number 5, Notre Dame. What does it mean for Notre Dame? Because they have some tough teams that they schedule this year. They still have Clemson.
Yeah.
And they still have USC.
This game frustrated me because, you're looking at Ohio State and Travion Henderson, a guy that last year didn't get as many attempts as you'd like him to get. He had 15 attempts, 6.5 carries or average yards per carry. Mayan Williams, 14 carries for 84 yards. He had 6 yards per carry. Each of the running backs had 6 yards per carry, and you have to look at how dangerous this passing offense is because that's what's going to open up the field for these running backs. They have to run the ball. There's no way in a game like this, C.J. Stroud should have 34 pass attempts, and I get it. He's a Heisman candidate, a guy that we think will win the Heisman. I don't know about after this game. We'll see how the season plays out. But Ohio State, I get it. They're finesse. But you have 2 running backs, at least one, who last year you saw Travion Henderson get about 6-7 yards per carry. Run the football, especially against teams like Notre Dame who were struggling at the quarterback position. Pound the football, and I swear they would have had more success than they had. But it's the first game. I don't take too much from it. But it did frustrate me, Adam. Like, you have 2 guys that are getting 6-7 yards per clip. Run the damn football. That's what I took out of it watching it, and we'll see going forward.
100%. They looked a lot better on defense, though, Ohio State.
They did.
They looked a lot better on defense. It was really night and day difference to last season. But top of the hour coming up, who should be calling plays for the Detroit Lions this year? Dan Campbell or Ben Johnson? We'll get to that in just a bit. But before we do, I got to tell you about the official drink of the summer, and that is the Mulligan, brought to you by Gypsy Vodka. Get a Mulligan today, whether you want to wrap up the summer on the golf course or you want to head over to Fish's house, barbecue, have a few drinks. It's up to you, but the Mulligan is your go-to choice. 8% alcohol, iced tea, lemonade, and vodka mixed. Support local as always, and please drink responsibly.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries. What will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Let me tell you about our friends at Chili Peppers Tanning. Join the Pepper Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. You'll get all the best deals, plus they will beat all competitors by $5. Chili Peppers has the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans. 26 locations and more on the way.
All right, top of the hour brought to you by our good friends over at Bedrock Detroit. Jeff, surprised, to say the least, from Dan Campbell's comments, not committing to Ben Johnson calling the plays, leaving it as a surprise as of now, but who will and who should be starting, or calling plays this year for the Detroit Lions? Ben Johnson or Dan Campbell?
The obvious answer to me is Ben Johnson. And this, I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't really gotten to this point yet, but I was frustrated hearing those comments. I really was. And I want to say this too. The Lions went 3-3 last year to end the year. They went 500. Dan Campbell was calling plays. I get all of that. Certainly he can do it. But if you're going to, and I'm just going to say this too before, and I don't know how this affects game planning too for opposing teams. If you don't want to reveal who's calling the plays, Ben Johnson or Dan Campbell, because you want to keep that in-house, I get that. But if you're actually, pondering whether you or Ben Johnson should be calling plays, then what the hell was this entire offseason for? What? Ben Johnson's been calling plays in training camp, calling plays all offseason, and now you have to think about it. And that's what confuses me, Adam. I don't want, and we talk about Ben Johnson all the time on the show, and we are big Ben Johnson guys, and I'm not going to freak out too much because regardless, the game plan doesn't really change. They practice what they practice. The difference is the actual play calling, and you see what Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, even the new quarterback, Nate Sudfeld, talk about and they say about Ben Johnson. First thing that comes out of their mouth, communicator. He's a great communicator. He's creative. He's innovative. That's what you want in your OC. And I get it, Dan. Dan says he likes doing it. He had fun doing it last year. I don't care. I really don't. I want whatever's best for this offense. And to me, that's Ben Johnson. Maybe Dan Campbell feels like it's him. But that's the problem I have, Adam, is why now? Why a week before the game that you have to actually think about this if it's not related to game planning? Because I get that. If you're hiding who the OC is, that's different. But if you're genuinely still confused on over who should be calling plays, me or Ben Johnson, that's what I have a problem with. The obvious answer should be Ben Johnson because all signs have been pointing to Ben Johnson this entire offseason, and he's done everything to deserve the damn job to be able to call plays. Last year, he was a play designer. He didn't actually call the plays. He was the pass game coordinator. But this year, Adam, Give the man the title. He's an OC. He deserves it. He's put in the work. He's earned the trust of his players. And to be honest, he's earned the trust of the coaches. So no question it should be Ben Johnson. These comments confused me when I first heard them. I really don't know why these even were mentioned. Besides, if you want to hide game planning and you don't want to give away anything for the Eagles coming up.
No.
But even then, it's like, who cares?
I'll walk you through where my head went and try to follow me here, because I was even a bit confused in the beginning. So I listened to the presser, had to rewind it, played it back again, and then kept listening. And I thought to myself, are we really having this conversation 6 days, 5 days leading up to the game? And then I took a deep breath. I was like, all right, let's see what's going on here. What is Dan trying to tell us without telling us, but going into the first game of the year? Because Ben Johnson has been calling plays all preseason, right? Ben Johnson's going to be calling plays. But I think this whole, quote, eagerness to call plays himself too, what Dan Campbell is saying is, I'm going to be heavily involved in the decisions that are made, especially early on.
And I respect
because
that.
You cannot afford to have another Anthony Lynn situation. Even though I don't think it's the case, I don't blame him for being that way. And you saw the offense get a lot better when him and Ben were working together. Was anybody complaining down the stretch with play calling? Or the game plan? Or the way they were executing the last 4, 5, 6 games of the year? I don't think so. I don't think anybody was complaining about the offense. So I think what Dan is telling you is, I'm still going to be involved. It is going to be Ben. I think this is all a bunch of nothing. Ben will be calling the plays. He should be calling the plays. And I think that'll allow Dan Campbell to be at his best when he's not having to worry about calling the plays. But again, I can't take away what Dan Campbell did last season. He did take over calling plays, Jeff. He did do that. And he was significantly better than an experienced offensive coordinator in Anthony Lynn. I don't blame him for having, quote, the eagerness, I'm going to quote what he said, to call plays again. But I think he'll just be more so involved in the decision-making, especially 2-minute warning, 2-minute offense, crunch time, 4th downs. I think Dan is going to have more final say over those moments, especially early on, than Ben Johnson probably will. And I don't think I have an issue. I really don't. Immediately, I really wanted to have an issue. I was really upset. And the more I kind of just sat back and thought about it, that's a bunch of nothing. Because I know what they do working together already. I saw it towards the end of last season. I saw one of the better versions of Jared Goff I've seen in years.
Right.
I'm really not too concerned. I'd put my money that it's still Ben Johnson calling the plays. But like I said, higher level decision making, 4th downs, going for it, 2-minute offense, hell, what to do in the 2-minute warning in the 4th quarter. I think you'll see Dan have more of an influence, but it'll still be Ben Johnson calling the plays. Your thoughts?
I'm okay with that, by the way. And I have no problem with Dan Campbell being more involved with this offense. No issue at all. I think he should, considering what happened with Anthony Lynn, not being involved and all that leading up to what happened in his firing. But with this, I just think it was, and Dan was laughing during the press conference too. He was chuckling a little bit. So who knows how serious he actually is about taking over and calling plays. I think he'll be involved, like you said. But the problem is last year we had such a small sample size of Dan Campbell calling plays, at least success, 3-3 to end the year. You saw situationally, the Lions did not look good at times. Some decisions he made, calling, whether it was the timeout play against Chicago or, there's other circumstances. You're hoping he can learn and build on those. In my opinion, I don't want Dan to have more things on his plate because he's not a proven play caller. And we said this last year. What's Dan's strong suit? To me, I think it's offense, but he has never been an offensive play caller. So that's yet to be determined. I just think Ben is deserving. He should just be the OC. There should be no, Ben calls the play and Dan has to, approve the play. Just trust your play caller. But I get it, Adam. I mean, I get where he's coming from. You want more control, Dan, because if they don't have a good record, it falls on Dan Campbell. So I get it. You want more control. But at the same time, It should be Ben Johnson on question, but we'll see. I think it still will be. I don't think this affects anything, but I just thought it was interesting. He says this a week prior, like, hey, we're still not decided who's the OC yet, who's calling plays, but we'll see. Maybe Ben's just a placeholder and Dan's calling plays. Who knows? But you saw Jared Goff have success with Ben Johnson as the pass game coordinator, Dan calling plays. I just think with all the players, they're all advocating for Ben Johnson. Should unquestionably be Ben Johnson. I think it will be, but we'll see.
I don't
have a problem with it.
I don't mind it. I really don't, especially because, again, you saw him call plays last year. And did anybody really have a problem with it down the stretch? You're winning games. You went 3-3.
Yeah, I mean, fans will take it.
Was it rough against Pittsburgh? Was it rough against Cleveland? Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. First 2 weeks were rough. Not good. It got a lot better. And that's kind of the offense you want to see going into this year. Big plays, deception, running the ball, committing to running the ball. Do you want to see them go for it on 4th and 2, 4th and 1 from their own 18 with 3 minutes left in the first quarter? Nah, you probably don't want to see that. And I think a lot of that's going to get eliminated this year anyways because they were the worst team on 3rd down in the NFL last year. I think they'll make a 10-12 spot jump this year just on 3rd down. I think the running game is going to set them up into good positions. You're never going to have 3rd and long. You're going to be 3rd and median, 3rd and short. You have the ability to run the football if you so choose to. And, of course, you have Jared Goff, play action. You can throw underneath Amon-Ra St. Brown. You can take chances deep with DJ Chark. You have a lot of offensive weapons this year, much more than you had down the stretch last year. Oh, should I also mention a very healthy offensive line, a deep backfield, Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift, Craig Reynolds. There's something there. There is something there. I'm not going to look too much into it. I'm not going to say I'm upset. I was a little taken back by the comments. I was not expecting that at all. I was expecting a definitive answer. Yep, Ben's calling the plays on Sunday, looking forward to Sunday, whatever it may have been. Right. But do you blame him? Because his first OC that he hired didn't work out all that great.
Screwed him.
Got rid of him.
Yeah.
Team improved. With Ben Johnson, again, I think Ben is going to be phenomenal. He's going to call the plays. I just believe Dan Campbell probably is still, now the games are here. Again, this comes with inexperience. That comment probably doesn't happen with many other head coaches. But it does with him, and that doesn't have to be necessarily a problem.
Right.
But the reality is the games are 5 days away now. 6 as of yesterday. It's right here. And boy, I really want to win so bad. And I'm paraphrasing from Dan's POV. Really want to win bad. I don't want to see us lose because, we drop the ball at some point on offense. And again, that's your job as a head coach, to be prepared for every minute detail going into the game. And whether that's him calling plays or Ben or whatever. It's go time now. Like, this is no longer opinion talk. No. The games start now. You lose, you lose. You win, you win. It's that simple.
Right.
It gets so simple from here on out.
And
so now it matters.
And it's not uncommon, too. I'm not saying Dan Campbell, Sean McVay, but you kind of saw it last year with Kevin O'Connell and Sean McVay. Kevin O'Connell might help out with play calling, but it does go. The buck stops with Sean McVay. He approves the play call. He's the ultimate. He's the end-all, be-all. And I could see Dan being that. I'm not saying Dan is going to be the play caller Sean McVay is or will ever be, but I can see it working. I just would rather prefer Ben gets the reins. Dan can focus on just being a head coach, running everything, rather than just focusing on strictly play calling. But hey, he's the head coach. If he wants to do it, he wants to do it. We'll see how it works out.
I dig it. Well, coming up in just a few minutes, Owen joining us to give us his takeaways from the Michigan State game, college football in general. Then we'll get to season expectations. We'll go game by game. We'll have our final lines predictions. I don't think we're far off, by the way, on this. I don't know your record yet, but
I'm sure we're in the
I'm
same
pretty
ballpark.
sure it's pretty close, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency.
Yes, let me tell you about our friends at SMA. Because, guys, the Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the F Word, helps spread awareness of fentanyl and other addictions. Go to sportsma.com if you are struggling or know someone who is.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends at Foaling Warehouse. Because, guys, the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling game. 2 to play for $12. They have the unlimited open play. Or you could pay $120 for a lane reservation for up to 10 people. $2 mystery beer machine as well. Check out the full bar. You can even invite my good friend Fish to go with you. Fish will go down there and throw some footballs, right?
Nobody
Fish?
wants to hang out with Fish.
Dude, Fish, are you good at Foaling?
I was okay last time.
See, Fish isn't even that bad. Go check out Foaling Warehouse at thefoalingwarehouse.com.
All right, we're back 9:16, joined by a very good friend of the show,
Owen,
and also the Michigan State beat reporter for the Woodward Sports Network, and that is Owen Oszust. Owen, good morning, buddy. How was your weekend? How was your Labor Day?
It was pretty good, you know.
You didn't get any sunshine. Look at you. You're pale as hell.
I am. I stay inside all day pretty much. It was, you know, it was something. It was all right.
All right. Well, walk me through Michigan State. Jacoby Windman, hell of a debut for a transfer. A few injuries, snow going down for the season. A lot of good and bad to take away from the Michigan State game. Give me your takeaways.
Yeah, there was a lot of takeaways for this one. I would say biggest one, obviously they played okay. Obviously they covered, but the feeling after the game was that it didn't feel like a win. Like, yes, they won, but at the same time they didn't. And the second Mel Tucker got in the locker room, he told me this, that like the team wasn't happy. Everyone was like, we can do better. And I think the fact that the team realized that was a big step forward for Michigan State, and that just shows how good they want to be. Jacoby Windman on the edge, I talked about him on Friday. He was fantastic. The pass rush, Chris Bago and Aaron Brule both had sacks as well. Secondary looked okay, but the wide receivers, that's what blew me away. Jaden Reed was dealing with injuries as well throughout that game, and Keon Coleman, Trey Mosley, Jeremy Bernard, all had touchdowns. They stepped up in a big way. I love Keon Coleman in that game on Friday. I thought he was fantastic, but he's definitely somebody to watch out for this season.
All right, Owen, like you said, it didn't feel like a win, but they did win the game. They pulled away late. Mm-hmm. The offense, to be honest with you, Owen, Jaden Reed, underwhelming performance. The running game actually was probably what you expected, especially going in. There was a lot of talent, a lot of talk in the backfield. But last season, you know, Kenneth Walker gave you about well over 100 yards a game, and as a team, you were at about 197, 198. You got 197 against Western. That was a good sign, but Peyton Thorne, I think the confidence was still there, even though he, completed 50% of his passes, but the offense just never got rolling.
No, it didn't, and that's because, I talked to Peyton after the game, and quarter number one, it was a struggle. He was trying to figure things out. Number two, it was clicking on all cylinders for Michigan State, and then quarter number three, it felt a lot like he said he didn't know what happened, and then quarter four, they found it out again. So it was about that inconsistency. Mel Tucker was trying to figure that out, and he wants to play Akron all 60 minutes. That's what he said. So that's a big focus moving forward for Michigan State if they can figure that out. I talked to Jalen Berger as well after he had 120 yards. He said he should have gotten at least 200. That's because he felt like he wasn't going through those tackles, wasn't breaking those tackles, taking advantage of those opportunities. Broussard showed flashes, but he was okay. He wasn't breaking those tackles either. I think the run game's going to get better, but like I said, those wide receivers did step up. Jaden Reed was just dealing with injuries. That's why he was in and out of that game, dealing with a lower body injury that I can't disclose, but he hopefully he's going to be okay. I don't want him to play at all against Akron if I'm Michigan State, just to get him rested up for Washington. But to see those other guys step up in a big way was something to watch out for.
Oh, and I did want to bring up also on top of this, because you saw what you guys have been able to do in the transfer portal too with Mel Tucker. You see Kenneth Walker, Wake Forest had almost 600 yards. Comes MSU, has a fantastic Heisman, I would think, season. And then you see, Jacoby Windman. And you see another transfer coming over, having 4 sacks in his first game. But on top of that, the bigger picture I want to ask you about is Brandon Jordan and his impact on some of these pass rushers, because we saw what he's been doing, especially working with pros like Cameron Hayward, Von Miller. But not only coaching, but with Brandon Jordan, what does he bring to really just take this defensive line and linebacker core to up an entire level?
He brings NFL players, plain and simple. And the fact that he's able to coach up Jacoby Windman, he coached him up in high school, and he posted on Twitter or whatever, that the fact that they had come such a long way from Brandon Jordan, having a few clients and everything, and now he's coaching NFL players like Max Crosby, O'Shawn Gary, etc. And now Jacoby Windman just won Walter Camp National Defensive Player of the Week. Just shows those guys building their way up. And the fact that he's able to go out and recruit, showing that he has that NFL talent under his belt, and he's like, hey, I can get you to that level, is already big. We've seen that for 2023 and Michigan State's recruiting class. They're going to have a filthy defensive line moving forward, and it all starts with Jacoby Windman. Because of those moves, you can go back, watch the tape. He was fantastic. He had 4 sacks in his first game at Michigan State. His goal is to have like an Aiden Hutchinson type of year and to be a first-round draft pick. That's how big of a goal he has, and with Brandon Jordan, he can show that. It's going to be sky's the limit for this defensive front, but it's all about the secondary. Can they fill in? There was just at times that secondary looked okay once again against Western, but the fact that they were able to put pressure on that redshirt freshman quarterback for Western was big time, and they're going to do it all season long, assuming that they stay healthy. But Boggle, Aaron Brule, Simeon Biro up the middle, all those guys are going to be able to put pressure because of Brandon Jordan. The fact that Mel Tucker gave him the chance to go out there and prove himself, because no other college football team in the country would give him that opportunity. He said, hey, come over to Michigan State. I want you to coach up these guys. I've seen your resume and everything. And boom, he's already making a difference game 1.
It's unbelievable.
Well, you know what, Owen? One of the things I noticed, linebacker play was improved. Obviously, the defensive front, phenomenal. But secondary, you said before the season started, Mel Tucker was putting his name on the secondary. I still think there's a lot of concern. I didn't see massive improvement in the secondary. I saw a lot of improvement at the linebacker position. I saw a lot of improvement on the edges, even on the interior. But the secondary, Owen, that's going to be the make or break for this defense, no?
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, Amir Speed looked fine yesterday. Friday. He looked okay. Chuck Brantley was the one guy that really stood out to me. He had the interception against Michigan. I thought he played well. The other guys were just okay, especially after the loss of Xavier Henderson. That's just heartbreaking. I don't know how long he's going to be out for. I would not expect him back at least in the month of September, but Mel Tucker said in his press conference on Monday that he's sore, and whenever he's ready to come back, he will. I think it's just about getting those guys those reps, because obviously last year a lot of inexperienced guys in that secondary. Now they're back for another year and everything. Against Akron, they shouldn't have any problems, but once you go to Washington, that's when stuff starts to get exposed if it's not going well. But at least the secondary gave them the opportunities. It was just a lack of offense in the second half that really exposed them because they had a couple of turnovers, a bad pick by Peyton Thorne. I don't know what he was doing there, and then the fumble as well. So they got to clean up those mistakes, and I think they will. But from that point on, the secondary's got to step up if the offense is clicking, because that defensive line should give them the opportunities that they need, so they're not just exposed on the island or whatever.
I want you to also just give me your evaluation also on Peyton Thorne, because you kind of mentioned him already, but just the game he played. I know he was 12 for 24, 4 touchdown passes, 1 interception, which you mentioned as well, the fumble, 68 QBR. But just in totality, evaluate Peyton Thorne, how you think he played, and what do you think his season this year will look like, now without Kenneth Walker?
Thorne can be better, and he said that when I talked to him after the game, he actually asked, what's the touchdown record at Michigan State for most touchdowns in a game? And then he said he wants to break it against Akron. So I feel like the sky's the limit for this kid. He's got high potential. He's always talking about taking that next step. Obviously, he had 4 touchdown passes on Friday, but I think he can get better. He knows he can be better, and he's going to have to be better for Michigan State this season. Obviously, there was rusty play and everything, but he overshot a couple of guys down the sideline. To start, Jaden Reed and Keon Coleman, he overshot them. Both would have been touchdowns. Then he found Bernard, and then from then on, the offense started clicking in that second quarter, and they pulled away. And then third quarter, all of those mistakes started happening. And then fourth quarter, he figured it out. So it's about finding that consistency for Peyton Thorne. He's going to be better. Last year, he was fantastic. He's got to be better as well. But, you can't just rely on Peyton Thorne as well. Jalen Berger had a drop. Jarek Broussard has to be. So those 2 running backs as well. You can't just rely totally on the pass game, because that's not Michigan State's DNA. Offensive line didn't give him much protection either. I know you said, Jeff, you looked okay, but it was the offensive line that was a struggle piece in that first quarter, because Thorne had no time. He just had to get rid of it immediately. Offensive line has got to be better as well.
Fair enough. Well, Owen, look, can't thank you enough for hopping on this morning with us. Appreciate it as always. We'll start seeing you regularly, huh? Every week. Going to be fun to recap some Michigan State talk. Owen, you do a hell of a job. Great footage, by the way, over the weekend. What a no so far as a Sparty. I'm feeling good about this, by the way.
Oh, my Lord.
I'm not
a win is a win, right?
Oh, dude. You know how many text messages I got over the weekend, especially on Friday, during that game when it was close? It was like a 3 or an 8-point game, I think it was. Many text messages like, hey, it's not too late to, switch your fandom to Michigan. So many people were giving me shit. It was hilarious.
And then you had Ryan Armani's call out on Twitter.
No, they can kiss my ass.
I love it, man. I love it. Hey, don't worry, Owen. I brought up the BYU game to Adam as well, because
I went 4-1 on my bets, though. I nailed the first 4. The upset let me down. All right.
The upset
let me down. That was an ass whooping. Owen, thanks so much.
Baylor this week, so yeah.
Oh, I'm taking Baylor in the points. Yeah, 100%.
Keep chopping.
4.5, baby. 4.5. We got Baylor 4.5 this week. I'm excited. Thanks so much, Owen. Talk soon. All right, buddy.
So green.
All right,
Oh man, that was fun. All right, coming up, game by game. We're going to go through the line schedule, expectations for the season. 9:40, we'll preview Hard Knocks. We'll go over our best moments from Hard Knocks, takeaways, of course, what we learned, and much more. But before we do, I got to tell you about where I'm going to go get my haircut, because holy hell, I did not realize how thick my hair is this morning. Holy shit. And that's at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. They're amazing stylists who take care of you like they take care of me. Get to any Lady Jane's near you. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Like I said, they're awesome stylists who take care of you like they take care of me. Get to a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
You
don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Make sure you're listening to Woodward Sports all day long. Start your morning with the Morning Woodward Show. Spend middays with Big D Energy. Watch and listen your drive home with the bottom line. And don't forget about Woodward Bets Daily. All live, all right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Jeff Iafrate here with Odds Trader. Because, guys, oddstrader.com is the #1 site for your game day bets. Talk about conveniency. Listen, I'm a simple guy. I go to oddstrader.com. You look at all the sports books. It's right in front of you. You don't have to go to different apps on your phone. Everything's lined up and easy for you to access. And they also have play-by-play updates. They have the live scores, the best price from every game for multiple sports books, like I said. And go to oddstrader.com right now for your best bet.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. 9:30, beautiful Tuesday morning. Football is officially back. Thursday night, we'll get the NFL back. We have college football all week. I'm excited. Jeff, the Lions season expectations. All right, we got 10 minutes. Hear me out. I want to go game by game.
Let's do it.
I'm not asking you for a score. I'm not asking you for anything. But I want to evaluate the season in portions. All right, let's start with the first 4 games. Home to Philly, home to Washington, on the road to Minnesota, and home to Seattle. 3 home games. 4 games in total. What's the record after 4 games, Jeff?
I have them 2-2. I have them 2-2. I have them beating Washington and Seattle. I have them losing to the Vikings and to Philly.
All right, and we would agree. We would agree, although one of my favorite bets for this upcoming Sunday is the Lions underdog money line at home against the Eagles. I'm taking that line. But I agree, 2-2. Mm-hmm. Next 4-game stretch, you have New England on the road, Dallas on the road, home to Miami, home to the Packers. After 8 games.
Yeah.
And specifically in that 4-game stretch, Jeff, what's the record in that 4-game window?
So for that 4-game stretch, it could be 1-3, easily, or worst case scenario 0-4, which we would all be extremely, extremely unhappy with. But I'm gonna go and say. I'm going to say 1-3. I think they beat New England out of those 4 teams. It's hard for me to say, and maybe they beat Dallas, but if you're talking about me definitively, they can lose to Dallas, they can lose to Miami, and they can lose to Green Bay. So to me, I'm going to say 1-3.
I'm going to go 2-2.
Hopefully they are 2-2.
I'm going to go 2-2, and that means through 8 games, I have them at 4-4. Okay? I think they beat New England. I think they lose to Dallas. I think they lose to Miami, and I think they beat Green Bay at home.
Actually, I'm going to go 2-2 because I have them losing to Green Bay at Green Bay, but I have them beating Green Bay at Ford Field. So I'm going to change that to 2-2.
So through 8, I have them at 4-4. So do you?
Yes,
we agree?
Yep, I have them at 4-4.
All right, the next 4-game window.
Okay.
Road in Chicago, on the road to the Giants, home to the Bills, home to the Jaguars. What do you have them going in this 4-game stretch? Let's start in Chicago.
I could see them 3-1 because I have them beating Chicago. I think they'll beat the Giants. The Bills is an automatic loss, but I think they can beat the Jaguars as well. So if I have to go with my heart, I would probably say 2-2 again because I feel like to win 3 out of the 4, there's one game you might drop out of those 3. You're going to MetLife, you're going to Soldier Field, and you got Jacksonville. And who knows what Trevor Lawrence is going to look like in year 2. So I'm going to go the safe route. I'm going to go 2-2. But if they go 3-1,
so you have them
I'm not
6
surprised.
and 6 through 12,
yes,
right?
Yes.
All right, I have them going 1-3 in this stretch.
Okay.
They're going to beat Chicago, and then their first substantial amount of adversity will come. They're going to lose to the Giants. They're going to lose on Thanksgiving to the Bills, and the Jaguars will beat them at Ford Field. Okay? So I have them at 5-7. You have them at 6-6.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The next 4-game stretch. Minnesota at home, on the road to the Jets, on the road to Carolina, home to the Bears. 4-game stretch. Jeff, what do you have them going?
This is, I think, another 2-2 to me. I think they beat the Vikings because they lost earlier in the season. I think they split with the Vikings. They could also get swept by the Vikings. But I'll say they beat the Vikings, and they're going to lose, in my opinion, to either the Jets or the Panthers. I don't know. They could beat both of them, but I think they'll lose to one of those teams. And I think they beat Chicago. So
3-1?
Yeah, I'm gonna say 2-2 actually. Again.
2-2, not 3-1.
No.
So you have them at 8-8.
Yep.
Okay. In this 4-game window, I have them winning 2 games.
Okay.
Losing to Minnesota, they get swept by Minnesota. I have them beating the Jets, losing to Carolina, beating the Bears. So the Lions, as of right now, 7-9, heading into Green Bay for the final game of the year on my books.
Me too.
I have them at 7-9. You have them at 8-8. You win 2-2 on every stretch, unless I.
Oh yes, you're right.
miscounted.
8-8, and then I have them losing.
And then losing to the
Green
Packers
Bay.
to be 8-9.
Yeah, 8-9.
So 8-9, I think, is very fair. Yeah. I have them at 7-10, but if I'm honest, again, let's just play the quarterback game because this is where things get interesting. So just to clarify, 7-10 over here, 8-8 on, or excuse me, 8-9 on your side, and I think that's improvement. Having said that, let's go back to week 1. Jared Goff or Jalen Hurts?
Oh, we're not doing this.
Just trust me. Trust me.
All right.
Follow through.
Jared Goff.
Really?
Between him or
I
Jalen
was
Hurts?
not expecting that
Yeah,
answer.
if you tell me who I would trust, I'm going with Goff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz or Jared Goff?
Oh, that's a toss-up. I'll go Goff.
Okay.
Because
Goff or Cousins?
Probably Cousins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goff or Geno Smith?
Well, Goff. Yeah.
Goff or Mac Jones?
That's tough. I'll go Goff right now.
Okay.
But I think Mac Jones could be better
Dak
than
Prescott?
Goff. Dak.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Dak.
Tua or Goff?
Goff.
Rodgers, Goff?
Well, that's, the answer.
Okay.
Rodgers.
Fields or Goff?
Goff, because of what's around him.
Goff or Daniel Jones?
Goff.
All right. Goff or Josh Allen, excuse me?
Josh Allen.
Okay. Jared Goff or Trevor Lawrence?
I'm going to go Trevor.
Okay. Kirk Cousins, you already answered. Zach Wilson, Jared Goff.
Goff.
Okay. Jared Goff or Baker Mayfield?
Baker can get hot. I'm going to go Goff if we're talking in general.
So, out of the 17 games that are played this season, 10 of which you believe, which I would, for the most part, agree with you. I don't know about Jalen Hurts yet, but for the most part, there are 9 or 10 games where the Lions have the better quarterback. I have them at 7 wins. You have them at 8. Now, the absolute X factor this season are going to be on the road to the Giants, on the road to the Jets, on the road to Carolina, home to Seattle, on the road to New England, home to Washington, the Bears twice. That's already 8 wins. Now, you're not going to win all of them, but I'm just saying, those games are there. And there's a reason why we talk about one of the easier schedules in the NFL. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. So you have them at 8 and 9, I have them at 7 and 10. And I think that's a fair, that is fair play.
Yeah, we're both, even if they go 7 and 10, I'm sitting up here. I'm accepted.
So I have them losing to Jacksonville, by the way. That was our one differentiator where we just disagreed on. I have them losing to Jacksonville. I think you have them going 2 and 2 in that stretch. I have them going 1 and 3.
Yeah, I didn't say what teams. I just said 2 and 2.
Oh,
I could see them also losing
I think
the Jacksonville game. Yeah.
is. You guys want to place a bet on a dark horse division winner this year? Take Jacksonville. I'm telling you. Tennessee's going to fall off a little bit.
Yeah.
The Colts, I don't think, are night and day better with Matt Ryan. Trevor Lawrence, if he's what you think he is, with Doug Peterson and that offense, watch out.
And they have a good defense.
Watch out for Jacksonville if you guys want a friendly bet.
They got pass rushers.
I want to wrap up, but 7 and 10, 8 and 9, okay? I don't think either of us have them having stretches where they lose a lot of games. I have them 1 and 3 for a 4-game stretch where they do lose 3 in a row. But outside of that, this is a season of win, loss, win, 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 loss, loss, win, loss, win, loss. So a lot of back and forth.
Right.
I think it's pretty fair.
And also,
I really do.
On top of that, you know that this season's going to be dictated on 2 things, and I always say it's defensive line and offensive line. Number 1, though, it's that defense. Because we could talk about what quarterbacks we prefer, Jared Goff or whoever it is, But you're not facing quarterbacks. You're facing the defense if you're Jared Goff. So that's the thing also you have to look at is, yeah, I think they could beat some of these teams, but also you look at New England against this defense we have currently. You got to look at it like that as well. And it's going to be interesting to see. I think some of these wins, you might see some games you lose that you kind of scratch your head, but you also might see some wins this year where you're sitting there going, damn, the Lions just steal that game.
Let me just ask you very directly. Do you think they split with the Vikings?
Yeah, I do. They could get swept.
I would say I don't.
They could. I'll say yes. I'll say definitively yes.
I'm going to say they don't. I think they get swept.
Okay.
Packers, split or sweep?
I'm going to say split.
I would agree. I think they'll split.
Yeah.
Bears? I think they sweep the Bears.
Yeah, I think they sweep them too.
So that is a 3-3 record in your division.
Mm-hmm.
If they go 3-3 in the division, I think that's a good season. I do. 4-2 would be an overachievement because that would mean you probably swept the Bears and split with the Vikings and Packers, which I don't think they do. They're going to lose to Buffalo. I think Miami comes to town and beats them. I don't see the defense having an answer for all those weapons. Do I see them? Are they capable of beating the Patriots, beating the Cowboys? Yeah, they are. But it's a long, drawn-out season, man. But you know what's funny about this? We have this conversation, and this is why when people tell me this year, Adam, 10-7, the Lions are going 10-7, I don't laugh at them. I really don't. Because if Dan Campbell is what you think he is, if Ben Johnson is everything we're giving him credit for already, the offense is going to be clicking. They're going to be in all these games, and it's whether or not they can make a few stops and make a few plays on offense that'll decide how their season goes. I don't think 10 is egregious. I don't. But when we get back, Hard Knocks is tonight. We'll preview Hard Knocks, of course. We'll go over our best moments and much more. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at Cintron.
Yes, guys. Well, as you know, I'm drinking it right now. The Cintron, it's delicious. I have the sugar-free can. But you also can try the cranberry or the original, which is also very, very good. Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings. They also have, and as I mentioned, all three of their flavors in their 6-pack sampler box, which you can pre-order at CintronWorld.com/Red Wings. Get energized with Cintron. It's delicious.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
And we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show, 9:43. A few minutes, Jeff. We got 7 minutes. Hard Knocks tonight, the finale. Talk me through your favorite moments, and also give me a rating. How would you rate this experience of Hard Knocks?
Well, I think as somebody that, spends a lot of time talking about the Detroit Lions, I liked it. I think it gave us an insight, something that we haven't seen. You see inside the den, which is something I'm very, very happy the Lions have started doing, because you get to see what it's like through the NFL draft, in different meetings, different perspectives. So I appreciate that. But for me, I think Hard Knocks missed the ball on Jeff Okudah and Jameson Williams. I really do. And I get it. Pat Harris went on the bottom line and talked about how, he mic'd up Jeff Okudah and they just didn't get anything. I don't care, man. I think you really, really missed the ball on covering a guy like Jeff Okudah and the story, what all the expectations he has this season, everything that's happened in his career so far. And then you have Jameson Williams, the upside, the best receiver in college before the injury. Like, there was a lot of things I think personally Hard Knocks completely dropped the ball on. But again, I'm not going to sit here and nitpick. I did like the experience. I liked how they covered some players. I like how they talked about Malcolm Rodriguez, Aiden Hutchinson. They did throw a little bit of Ben Johnson at the end there. I did like it. The Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes relationship, you got to see Deuce Staley and Aaron Glenn. So I can't really sit here and complain too much. But for me, though, personally, if Jeff Okudah or Jameson Williams is not featured tonight, that's a blown layup to me, personally. Because if you're talking about what's, viewers are going to like, the entertainment value, you need a story that's going to tug at heartstrings. And I get it, you had Craig Reynolds and the story with him and his brother, which was really inspiring. Khalil Pimpleton and his family and his interests, like juggling. But to me, Adam, I think they really did miss the ball on Jameson and Jeff Okudah. And we'll see tonight if they're able to cover him. But so far, I just think they missed out on some things they should have added, but I'm not producing it. Out of 10, I'm going to say 8.5. 8.5, something like that.
Yeah, I'm at a 7.
Okay.
I'm at a 7. I think they dropped the ball on the Jeff Okudah storyline, even though I'm sure the Lions said, hey, we don't want him getting any attention. Like, leave him alone. But episode 1, you had Aiden Hutchinson dancing, Malcolm Rodriguez. You had all these funny moments. It was a great first episode. Episode 2, underwhelming. Nothing much. Episode 3, kind of better, but not really. Episode 4, definitely liked episode 4, but yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty done with it. It was fine. Gave us talking points. Love to talk about it. It was cool. I would say I'd give it a 7. We'll see how tonight's goes. I think the most I could ever give it after tonight is 7.5. It would have to be a phenomenal ending to the show for it to be an 8, but I'm pretty comfortable at 7 out of 10. I think it was good. I think it had a lot of dull moments, a lot of kind of like, what are we talking about here? Right. But then again, it's catered towards the national audience. We always have to remember that. This isn't just meant for Detroit. This is meant for a national-wide viewership. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I thought they did fine. St. Brown's dad was awesome. I agree, Anthony.
Yeah, he was the best.
But one thing we're not going to focus on enough about in camp. We saw the coaches get introduced. We saw the coaching dynamics. But, Jeff, Jared Goff, we got a little bit of him in episode 4 finally. And that key soundbite, oh yeah, I'm more confident than ever. That matters, man. That matters. And it's those little things that you take away and say, you know what? Like everything that's being reported, when you see it, when you see him go 16 of 18 and shred the defense, when you see him put together a good drive in the opening preseason game, he's a different guy. And I think if there's anybody or any two people that I walked away from Hard Knocks just very, very impressed with and looking forward to watching is Aiden Hutchinson and Jared Goff. Those two I cannot wait. And Dan Campbell was on 97.1 this morning, and he talked about how he's ready to unleash, quote-unquote, Aiden Hutchinson this year. And, man, I don't blame him. We talked about it before the draft. Who was the Dan Campbell guy, Jeff?
It's Aiden Hutchinson.
It was Aiden Hutchinson.
Unquestioned.
And he fell to you.
And that's the highlight for me out of Hard Knocks. You have to see Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, honestly. And on top of that, Malcolm Rodriguez, it just solidifies the point we've been making for months. It's Brad Holmes, his ability to identify talent. And seeing Aiden Hutchinson, seeing Malcolm Rodriguez up close. Personally, I think Kirby Joseph has enough personality that he could have been shown as well. But I get it. You have 6 hours to edit of footage, and you really need to squeeze it into an hour. So I get how some things could be left out. I just think if you know what the Lions fan base wants, it's Jeff Okudah and Jameson Williams, and we'll see tonight. I think they definitely deserve to be featured a little bit. If you can give me 20 minutes of David Blau and his wife, we already know about that story and David Blau cheering on his wife during the Olympics, you can give a little bit of time to Jeff Okudah and Jameson Williams. But that's all I got to say. I'm happy with what they did. I can't complain, but I am nitpicking.
Fair enough. I don't mind it. When we get back, when we get back, mailbag time. So get all of your questions in the chat. ask myself, Jeff, whatever you want, whether it's Hard Knocks, Lions, Michigan quarterback situation, Michigan State's performance, whatever you'd like to talk about, feel free to drop it in the chat. We'll get to it in just a bit. But before we do, Jeff, the best defense on and off the field.
Yeah, we talk about this Lions defense, and expectations are high this year for the Lions. But, guys, expectations are always high for Guardian Alarm because summertime is almost over. Basically is over. We're heading into September. But that doesn't mean you're still spending time outside. Guardian Alarm gives you peace of mind while you're out enjoying the sunshine. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT today, and you could rest easy knowing you have 24/7 protection. That's 1-800. You say fish, stay out. Let them know Woodward Sports is sent you.
Australia. Well, see you later.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle, baby, talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Mailbag time, Jeff. Let's get started with this. Adam and Jeff, do you like any of the college quarterbacks coming out in 2023?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different guys you can look at. I mean, you see, especially with C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, you see Keaton Slovis and J.T. Barrett as well playing with West Virginia versus Pitt. It's too early to really say who stands out. I mean, even the beginning of the year, no one really talked about Malik Willis, but towards the end of the season, everybody was talking about Malik Willis. So I think I'm going to wait for that answer, but certainly there's talent coming out this year. No doubt about it.
All right. Adam, do you have a relative that plays a wide receiver at Eastern? No, I don't. Same last name, though. If Michigan State looks shaky versus Akron, Adam, are you concerned? Yeah, I'll absolutely be concerned. Michigan State need to handle business. Let's see, what else? What's the host/guest lineup for Lions pregame show? Y'all in the studio or on site? So we'll be live at the Brass Rail for Sunday pregame shows for the Detroit Lions. It'll be Armani, Braylon Edwards, Maz, myself, Jeff, Neil, Terry. We're going to have a bunch of rotations throughout the season, so it's going to be really fun. The goal is to have a former Lions player on every single week, so we're definitely working on that. JJ starts the rest of the year and balls out. Are you staying with State? I'm staying with State this year no matter what. I chose to commit for the year. That's exactly what I'm going to do, and I hope JJ balls out. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have a few people on Twitter that I can't wait to send very friendly messages about the whole situation.
He'll definitely ball out against Hawaii, I'll tell you that.
Do you think JJ gets the job this weekend? I would say yeah. I mean, Hawaii, they're 51-point favorites. I mean...
Dude, that's ridiculous.
That's more than Alabama was against Utah State. That's insane.
That's insane. There's no reason why JJ shouldn't throw for 4 touchdowns, but we'll see.
100%. Let's see. Sue is gone. Tate is gone. Slay is gone. Barry is gone. Calvin is gone. They're all not coming back, and we have to get over that. Yeah, please don't put Sue, Tate, or Slay ever in the same conversation as Barry and Calvin. Adam, what do you think of Braylon saying that the Lions will start 1-4?
He's being real.
I mean, that's not being real. No, that's not at all. The Lions' first 5 games of the year are their opportunity to snatch wins. Now, you want to talk about after the bye week? Dallas, Minnesota, Miami, Buffalo, on the road to the Giants, I believe. There's not in that specific order, but no. If the Lions start 1-4, that's a disaster.
No, yeah, I mean, listen, they can't. But certainly, I mean, he has them losing to the Eagles, the Commanders, and the Vikings. So, and the New England Patriots. Technically, on paper, I mean,
yeah, I don't know what the hell he's looking at. Does Charles Harris surpass the 7.5 sacks from last year? No. I don't think so. Let's see. Pistons fan, I think he ends up with 11.5. Oh wow, Funky, that's a lot, man.
For Aiden or Charles Harris?
I think for Charles Harris. I don't see it. Do you think we package picks to move up for a quarterback this draft, or do we let the board fall? Andrew, it's a great question.
Depends.
I would say they're going to move up.
Yeah.
If Brad Holmes has his eyes set on his guy, they have the capital, they'll make the move. It's that simple. JJ is a first-round talent a year from now. It's way too early, man. College quarterbacks, there are so many talented ones that are dual threats. Most of them don't make it to the NFL. There's a reason for that.
Yeah. And just to let you know, DJ Ugalele was a 5-star as well. So we have to let it plan out.
I can't wait to see Cade Klubnik get the ball,
I know, I
man.
can't either. Another 5-star.
He looked electric, man. He looked
did.
electric. Adam, do you think that James Mitchell will catch more than 2 touchdowns this year? Let's see how many games he plays.
Yeah, that's the question.
Let's see how many games
How much
he
is he
plays.
involved?
Adam and Jeff, if the Lions start 2-3 with one of the wins over the Patriots where they get blown out by 40+, would you be happier than 3-2 with nail-biters? No, I would take more wins any day of the week. I don't care if all the wins were last-second field goals.
Jack asked a question that I love.
What's that?
Will Brian Kelly make it as an SEC coach? I don't think so.
Hell no.
Easiest question of my life.
He ain't making it at
ever
LSU.
answer. Absolutely not.
I
My
don't see it.
family.
I don't see it. Personality, he doesn't fit. You could see it. The team looks incredibly undisciplined. Like, you saw the targeting call they had.
Brian Kelly is the guy you don't invite to the family barbecues.
It's terrible.
There's a reason for it.
I think he is a... LSU settled for Brian Kelly because they couldn't get Mel Tucker. Mel Tucker would have been a perfect fit because of his recruiting ability. Brian Kelly, I'll tell you this, now that these kids are making money, they ain't coming to LSU just because of the brand. They're coming to LSU for the coach as well, and I don't think Brian Kelly's that guy. So
it couldn't have started off worse for LSU.
No.
If the Lions hit your target of 7 and 9 wins, where do you expect the Lions pick to be, and who do you think they should target if Goff does well? I think, honestly, Cooper, regardless of how Goff plays, you're probably going to target a quarterback. I think that's the play. It's going to be a quarterback. I don't think you're going linebacker in the first round, so let's just throw that out the window. I think you have 2 picks in the first round this year. Let's wait and see. Let's see how everything plays out. But I would say from now, my eyes are set on a quarterback at the end of the year.
What about Anthony Richardson?
Can you shut the hell up, Jeff?
Everybody's loving.
No, I'm not having that conversation.
All I'm saying is be ready for Maz and Ryan, because once they haven't already, they'll be clamoring for Richardson.
Oh God. Brian Kelly has passed his due date. Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree,
Adam,
yeah.
Clemson O-line is subpar, and they don't have the horses at skill position, so Cade is going to struggle. I don't know about that, Jesse. I really liked what Cade looked like. Yes, they don't have the offensive weapons they've had before. Yes, the running backs aren't as dynamic. Yes, the offensive line isn't as good, but I would say the Clemson defense was all over the field yesterday.
They look good.
They look good. I think it's a team that in the ACC could put together an undefeated season.
I like Clemson as a sleeper this year.
All right, let's finish it up with a few more questions. Would you select Will Anderson with one of our first-round picks? Will Anderson's going top 5, top 7, so I don't think you're going to trade up to get Will Anderson, so I would say no. I don't think he's going to be available. Let's see what else. I want everyone on social media who continuously worries about who quarterback 2 and 3 are to start wearing a helmet. You're so rude. Come on, Draft Junkie. You're so mean. Adam, are you a State fan now? Yes, I am, just for the year. So you also want Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud? It's so early to say that. Yeah. I can't. Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud going into the season, yes, are 1 and 2. We also saw Spencer Rattler fall off the board completely. So let's just let the season play out. Penei Sewell a Pro Bowler this year, Jeff?
Screw it. Why not? I don't know about this year. I have confidence in him.
I don't think it's impossible.
I'll say this: if he does, I'm not surprised. But I don't think it'll be this year.
Are the Bears really weak? People are saying that they reset the offense to take advantage of Justin Fields' strengths. Yeah, it's easy to say that in camp, harder to execute.
I was going to say
Darnell Mooney is all they have.
Yeah, Mooney's your number 1 receiver. Fantasy
Cole
lovers.
Kmet, yeah, David Montgomery, but I'm sorry, no offensive line, no number 2 receivers. It's going to be a rough shop.
It's going to be tough for him.
Let's see, who cares about draft picks? Season hasn't started yet. Worth a conversation, always. Stop it. Let's see. Why did you change from Michigan fan to State fan? I was never a Michigan fan. I'm actually neither. I'm just supporting State this season. I want to see what it feels like to be a college football fan. I've never done it before. I'm not a fan of either school.
What do you mean when you say just for the year?
I'm going to support Michigan State this year.
But
I'm
are you
going to be
saying
a full
next year you'll
fan on the
convert?
show. I'm going to be annoying as hell.
I know.
For a year. I'm going to see how it goes.
But are you saying next year you'll change to Michigan if they win the Big Ten?
No,
and the
I'm not changing to anybody.
Oh,
I
okay.
think I'll do it for this year only, and then I'm going to go back to just neutral.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't plan on supporting either school. What are you guys' score predictions for the Lions-Eagles Week 1, Jeff?
I'll say 35 to 27. Maybe 24. I think they lose
In
by...
favor of the Eagles?
Yeah, I got the Eagles winning.
All right, I'm going to go 31-28 as of right now. Eagles, but I'm going to take the Lions on the money line. It's a great bet. Get them at underdogs at home. Start the year, you never know. That's it for the morning show. Thank you to everybody who tuned in this morning. Make sure you like the video before you leave. Appreciate it as always. Jeff, thank you so much. Fish, Alex, thank you so much. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.
Yes.
And enjoy the fact that football season is back. See you later.
See you guys.
Champions League football. Enjoy it.